Sandy Adams is a representative elected in 2010 to represent Florida's 24th District as a United States representative, where she served for a term of 2 years. Previously, she worked in the Florida State House of Representatives for 4 years and had served over 17 years with Orange County Sheriff's Office as a deputy sheriff and investigator. Thank you very much, Mr. Hardy. Representative Adams, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And before I begin, I would like to state that my thoughts and prayers go out to the families, first responders, and the community of Newtown. I am here as a mother, grandmother, former deputy sheriff, and former legislator. This issue is not political to me, but it is personal. I spent over 17 years as a law enforcement officer in Orange County, Florida, during which time I had the unfortunate experience of looking down the barrel of a rifle with the assailant's finger on the trigger, knowing that if that trigger were pulled, I would not be here today. I have also experienced the fear that grasps you when the laser sight from a 9mm Desert Eagle puts a dot on you. I tell you this so that you know that my comments here today are not based on any political motivation, but on my personal beliefs and experiences. As someone with a law enforcement background, I naturally consider whether a legislative proposal made under the banner of public safety would truly contribute to that worthy objective. Concerning the proposal to ban a wide variety of semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, and handguns, and ammunition magazines that hold 11 or more rounds, I think it's an easy question to answer. When Congress approved the 1994 ban, it required that a study of the ban's effectiveness be conducted. That study found that the banned weapons and magazines were never involved in more than a modest fraction of all gun murders. Several years later, a follow-up study found that assault weapons were used in a particularly small percentage of gun crimes, and that assailants fire less than 4 shots on average, a number well within the 10-round magazine limit imposed by the ban. Given the outcome of these studies and the fact that the nation's murder rate, which was already in decline prior to the 1994 ban, continues to decrease, legislation that seeks to ban semi-automatic firearms and restrict magazine capacity will not address the root causes of America's violent crime problem or greatly contribute to public safety. Because it is not the lack of laws that is the problem, it is the lack of enforcement of existing laws. 10 years ago, I ran for office because I watched as elected officials pass feel-good legislation without any regard for implementation and enforcement of such laws. As a law enforcement officer, I saw firsthand how difficult it was to convince state and federal agencies to prosecute criminals for illegal gun possession or other crimes. The attitude of many of the prosecutors that I worked with was that these type of crimes were nuisance cases that were a drain on their resources. If we do not prosecute those who try to purchase firearms illegally or possess firearms illegally, then what good does it do to pass more laws? In addition to enforcing already existing laws for prosecution, we must get a handle on how to keep firearms out of the hands of the mentally ill, a problem that my state of Florida has proactively addressed over the past 7 years. In 2006, as a member of the Florida House of Representatives, I sponsored House Bill 151, which required the state to create and maintain a database of persons adjudicated mentally defective or committed to mental institutions. The bill also required that authorized law enforcement to disclose the collected data to federal government agencies and other states for use exclusively in determining the lawfulness of a firearm sale or transfer. 2 years later, another bill I sponsored expanded the use of the mental health database so that law enforcement could also check residents applying for concealed carry permits and firearm licenses, and expanded the definition of adjudicated mentally defective to include those involuntarily committed to outpatient mental health treatment centers. Both of these bills are excellent examples of laws that improve public safety by keeping firearms out of the hands of the mentally ill without endangering the freedoms of law-abiding gun owners. We are at a turning point now. You have an opportunity to do what is right, and that may not be the easiest route. It is not time for feel-good legislation so you can say you did something, but it is time for a true discussion on the culture of violence and how to prevent more violent crime. Thank you.
Thank you very much.